Well, hi, good morning. Thanks for joining me in my shop here on August 2nd. I shouldn't have to look at the calendar for that. Second day of August here. What I'm going to be doing today is I'm going to try to restore the operation of the Magic Eye in this radio. I don't think there's anything wrong with the Magic Eye. In fact, I know the Magic Eye tube is essentially a brand new tube. There's no problem there. But the eye doesn't act nearly as much as it should. I'm very suspicious about one particular part, but I think it's a resistor. But I think what we'll do is we're going to take a look at a whole pile of eyes, and unfortunately, these are all dead. I can't bear to throw this kind of stuff away, stupidly of me. So here's a bunch of them. So we're going to take a close look at one of them. Probably this one. So this is the same style as what was in the radio. Very, very common. See, the numbers are washed off on it. What makes this one a little bit interesting is it's broken in the top here. Let's take a closer look with another camera. And so first we'll look into the top of a good one here. Okay, a good one. It's not a good one. These are all bad. See the X? That's so I don't accidentally use it. So when you look in there, you see a white shiny disc right in the middle. Now that disc is there primarily to keep you from seeing down further into the tube. Because what's down there is the heater, the red glowing heater. They don't want you to see that. They want you to see the green that's going to form along the screen here. So when we look at this one, oh, the cap has fallen off. It's currently wedged inside the tube there. Usually it flops around in here, but it's stuck for some reason and won't flop around. But now you can see down past it, you can see the heater and the grid. The wires you see, spiraling wires there, are the grid. Inside it is the heater, and that's throwing electrons off towards the screen material, which turns green. So a more modern style commonly found in European radios looks like this. A little hard to see close up. This one is actually I think it's a 3-in-1. It's got 3 different bands in it. They're dark because they're burned away, probably because of electronic bombardment. Electrons being accelerated towards that and smashing into it. They have to smash at a certain strength to trigger the glow. If they don't smash in really hard, no glow. They smash in, and so here's an older version. It's a different bulb shape, glass bulb shape. It has the same deal on the top though. This one's a Rogers. Licensed by the, what does that say? Thermionics. Licensed by Thermionics Limited, Canada, 1939. So this is probably made in 1940, this particular tube. Why even have these? Well, there's a huge advantage to using these tubes over a meter. What the tube is doing is it's showing you the signal strength. To show you the signal strength, a meter has to, for a meter to go up, has to take a little bit of power, a little bit of current, very tiny amount, but nevertheless, the circuits that reflect the strength of the signal really don't have any juice behind them to run a meter. So if you're going to run a meter, you'd have to install another stage of amplification, maybe aimed right at the meter alone, or some way of operating the meter. The Magic Eye doesn't draw any power in its operation. It's able to do that change without drawing any power. So you can hook it up just about anywhere in a radio. It's basically a voltmeter and nothing more, with just a weird way of pointing the voltage. Now, inside, they're a little odd, and how they operate exactly is a little odd, and far be it from me to try to explain it. So there's lots of fantastic websites. There's one in particular that covers magic eyes beautifully and explains their operation. And it's not so much the eye, it's the circuit around the eye that makes the eye do its thing. And that's, let's just say, it's not just the tube, it's the tube and the circuit. Now this one's not responding very well. It's not because of the tube. It's got to be because of the circuit. And there is a typical weak spot, if you like, I can call it that, in these magic eye circuits that in almost every case when I do an old radio like this, I'm stuck doing this particular repair, and I think I'm on my way to doing it now. And it's not particularly easy. Lots of particulars going on here, because the part that's causing the problem, I'm guessing at this point, is a resistor, and it's installed right inside the socket here. Let me take this tube out. Okay, we'll put it over here so I don't mix it up with all the bad ones. Buried down under this socket. This is a little different. This is a little bit of a different socket. Usually there's a thin, can't even see what I'm doing here. There's a thin plate at the bottom here. That's the usual thing. And of course with the holes for the tube pins to go through. And the plate, like these holes are square. This is different. Usually I go in with a hook and hook that piece of material down here, the plate, yank it out, and in the process I destroy it. And but that to me is the only way to get at the resistor. Now, is there really a resistor in there? Am I being fooled? I don't think it has to be in there. It can be installed in the radio. But I believe the way these things were built is they were kind of like self-contained units. And this can't work without that. I think it's a 1,000,000 ohm resistor. So in order to make it like a self-contained unit, rather than have the resistor hanging at the end of the wires, we put the resistor in here. Let's see if we can find out from the schematic, because it's really quite an ugly job to go in and fix this kind of thing. And maybe I can even measure it and become more certain about its failure before I make a mistake. Let's look at the schematic here. Okay, so the magic eye is shown. Where are you, magic eye? Here, way over here. Shown way over here. Okay, we'll go over there. Take a look now. So here's the resistor I'm talking about. Now, on the schematic here, it's not shown. Who knows where it is? It's shown on the schematic like this. But we could look for a 1 meg resistor underneath the chassis before taking apart the socket here, because it's a messy, ugly job, and it's a potential for breaking things while going after that resistor inside here. So just maybe it's down in a radio. R22. Okay, well, this is all we're going to get for help here. Okay, let's get the bottom plate off here. I've already removed the screws from it. That didn't work. Yeah, sometimes having a rotating platform there doesn't help. Gets in the way. Okay, we got it off. Now, here's the thing about these magic eyes. I mentioned that they kind of come as a unit. So the wires coming out of them are bundled up quite tightly. And they'll go into the chassis in this bundle, so it's easy to spot the bundle. And you can trace the bundle and see where the wires go. there's got to be 2 going to heaters, 1 going to some source of B+, and 1 going to a grid signal of some sort. That's 4. Maybe there's 4 here. Pretty tricky to count. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm not sure if it's 4 or 5. Okay, we'll tip it up. Here. Try not to bounce it. Anybody hear my shoulder cracking just there? Fell off my bike a few years ago, and since I broke my collarbone, and since then my shoulders make terrible sounds like that. Okay. Or am I just getting older? Probably a combination. Okay, so we're looking now. Where's the bundle come through? Right here. Right here. Bundle comes through right there. And it just barely comes through. Looks like some friction tape is on it. And the wires are splayed out. So now we'll follow each of these wires and try to find out if one of them meets up with a 1,000,000 ohm resistor right in this area where I would hope it would show up here. Yeah, I don't see it. So I'm going to stop the camera. I'm going to take a closer look at this and just make absolutely sure. I mean, the chances are really high that it's in the tube socket and not in the radio here, but I'm going to look very carefully. One of the things that makes this a little challenging is you can't see the bottom of the socket here. You can't see the pins. You can't see which wire is connected to which terminal inside here, which socket terminal. So if you want to try to sort things out in terms of which of these pin sockets is hooked up to what wire here, the only way is to hunt it down with an ohm meter. Here's my ohm meter here. Now, did this just fall out of here? I have one lead in pin number 4 on here, and that's the plate. So I'm looking, and that's the lead that should have the resistor in it. Okay, so the wires come up here. Each one of them comes up and bends back, so you can really see them quite clearly. Here they all are. So we'll just check them. If it's, that's what we'll hear. Okay, if it's the right wire. So we'll check the red one here, black one here. I know which one it is already, so I'm saving that one for the end. Here's the last one. See? Come on. Well, what's happened? Oh, what's this one? That's what's happened. So it's this wire here. Kind of a greenish color. The colors of these wires have faded over the years, and sometimes they even kind of change to a different color. Very hard to trace them out. So it's this one. So this guy is going to pin 4. Shouldn't they get there through that resistor? Shouldn't I get a megohm there? Or is this the resistor? This can't be it. This is a body and dot. This is a body and dot. So the dot has to be green to be 1,000,000, and this is red. This is a low value resistor here. Okay, well, how about we just look at the wires leaving this spot, and did they stick? Where's going way up here? They stick a 1,000,000 ohm resistor way up here somewhere. I don't think it can be that way. It has to be connected. Let's look again at the schematic. Something not working out here. First I want to try to trace every one of these to its place. So this is connecting up basically to the AVC line way up here on the far side of the large resistor here. It's a very high impedance circuit. Nothing special about that. We have the you can't really see how this is structured. These are complicated little tubes. They're doing stuff a little hard to get your head around just how they work. So what do we know? We don't know anything yet. We don't know if this resistor is in the socket or down here. Now it's not showing up. It would have to be. I guess it has to be after this point here. Now this isn't necessarily even a real connection point in the radio. I mean, the radio can look quite different from what the schematic looks like. I didn't find a 1 megohm resistor anywhere except for one place, and that's certainly not it. Okay, why don't we look at the socket? See, maybe this one's not so hard to get apart. That's a big maybe. Maybe. So I think I'm going to unplug the speaker here. I'm also going to unplug the radio so I don't accidentally turn it on. Okay, Mr. Radio. First of all, we'll get the clamp off it. It's going to go flying. This is often a sleeve that can be slid back. There's some places there to jam in a screwdriver and do something with it. There's a slot right here. So what exactly comes apart? What's holding it together? Close-up camera. You see the top part. The idea here is this shell here, this part, has been slid over something that's expanded it a little bit. I think the split here is to allow expansion slightly, and then it grips this top part. This top part is like a lock. This part. I can slide it down into this area. Then I think I can get the socket out in one piece. This is definitely not like others that I've done. You can see a little tab in there on the right hand side. Maybe the tab is keeping this upper piece from sliding back. Well, it doesn't look that way, does it? It looks like this piece is slidden over top. Look, there's a little slidden over top. There's a dimple there. That could be kind of popping into a spot, and then there's a slot there to put a screwdriver. On the other side too. Well, that looks like the key spot. Now, so the sleeve, the wider sleeve at the top there, doesn't look like it can slide over. It looks like it's the other way around. Well, can't I just expand these a little bit? Just put a screwdriver in there and kind of expand it and she'll come out? Let's try that. Let's try that. one little thing at a time, work our way up. So thinking you would do this. Yikes. I don't know about that. Or you do this. People, are you yelling at your, don't do that, don't do that? Because I'm being very gentle at first. The rugged stuff comes later. It's just as solid as can be. No, it's coming apart. Something's coming apart. It almost looks like they put this on and then they bent this part down onto it to kind of lock it. Really? Is that what they did? Ow! Danger. Whoa! Not the best tool there. Let's try something lighter and smaller. It really does look like they had a tool and they went clunk and they clamped it here. Oh, I'm going to stab myself here. There. Way. Okay, pried this open somewhat. Same time, you don't want to work the wire here a lot, or you're going to end up with frayed wire right at the top there, which you don't want. Look at that. And what's going on? Is this is coming up? Or this is going back. I think this is going back, which is what I want. Get it over here. There she goes. So this is not as bad as the others I've done. Look at that. Fantastic. And where's the resistor? Ain't no resistor in here, unless that's a resistor. I mean, it's usually sticking. Sometimes they stick right out the back. You can see the end of the resistor sticking out. The problem with the resistor up in here is that this gets hot. This is sitting high in the radio, so it's heated by the radio. Plus, it has a heater inside the tube. So this gets hot, and the resistor sitting in here is going to get hot, and the resistor itself is generating heat. So the combination is kind of suicidal, but it's not here. Well, now we know which wire is which, for sure. So, if I look again in here, 1, 2, 3, whoops. Oh, you know what? Maybe I counted these the wrong way last time. So we're looking in the socket, we count the other way. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 would appear to be the heavy wire. The heavy wire here. Now this wire, this one wire that's heavier than the rest, it's probably heavier because it has more insulation, because it's probably carrying the high voltage. But when I tested, I didn't, because I was testing in the wrong pinhole. I counted them wrong. Okay, let's repeat that test. Maybe this will lead me to the mysterious resistor. Okay, this time I can work right from the back. Here, let's do that. Pin 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Heavy wire, heavy wire. Testing. Heavy wire. On the back of the radio, heavy wire, of course. Okay, now, where are you, resistor? Oh my gosh, there it is. What are you excited about? I guess it's just telling me he's tired. Here, have a snooze. There it is. It is so filthy dirty. Let's take a look at it with a close-up camera, because no wonder I couldn't find it. First, it's hidden from my view by a couple wires. Well, isn't that the happiest looking resistor going? See, it looks like the third band is green. It looks rough. Okay, let's give it a little thumb cleaning here. Brown, black, green is 1 megohm. That's the resistor right there. And well, let's take a reading on it. Yeah, what am I doing? Let's take a reading on it. Okay, wait a sec. I'm not going to be interested in looking at that. Okay, back on. So 1 megohm. 1 megohm. This says a megohm, then we're going to be head scratching. It's going to go on here. Here we go. So it's gone high, which is what happens to resistors. They go high. They seldom go low. In fact, I don't know if I've ever seen one go low. It's supposed to be 1,000,000 ohms, and it's 2.5. It's 2.5 times its size. Gotta go. Okay, I'm going to change that, and we're going to try the eye. Okay, very good. Resistors soldered in. Let's put the radio down again, I think. Oh, careful there. Don't bang that. Okay, we'll plug the speaker in. There we go. Okay, and we'll just prop the eye like so. So I was taking the piece of paper there because, you know, if I didn't put that metal bottom back on, I don't know for sure that this isn't gone live now because of a short inside there. I can't be sure. Doubt it, but can't be sure. Okay, volume, and we'll check for it. Volume down, antenna on. Here. Try to do this with regular signals. Maybe we'll leave that off for now. Turn this way. And now we can't see the eye, so turn it back. Okay, enough fiddling around. I think I'm ready here. Plug it in. AVC meter is no longer connected. Okay, no problem. Oops on everything. Just hang in here, guys. Okay, volume down. Broadcast band. Here we go. Okay, the lights are normal. See if I can just, here we go again. Whoa. There's the eye. You can see it's more closed right now. Very bright. That's a very bright eye. Okay, here we go. Beautiful. Just noise causing it to operate, but that's okay. Okay, let's try the 9.3 megahertz signal, C band.
Certain that we partake of a new life, and so no, it has to reach.
It's not moving very much, is it?
Peace affectionately to the weaker. Who cannot yet say that
So
they
I think
know they
if this
have believed.
signal, let me put the
I
ground
speak
over
not
there.
to your condemnation, but to
That doesn't help.
full assurance
If
is
this
not essential
signal isn't enough to close this eye, nothing will close this eye.
satisfaction.
That's what I think.
May you, at any rate, never be satisfied to live without it.
A little more going on?
You may have it without personal revelation. It's wrought in us by the Word of God.
So let's look up 6U5 and what the grid potential. It should be the same as these other tubes. It's running off the same grid bias as the other tubes. What's all that popping? What's all that popping? 6U5. Maybe I won't even say in here. Here's TU. But any other tubes, grid voltage range would be the same, I think. 6U5. Let's see what it says here. Plate voltage, a couple hundred. Plate. Now this is a complicated tube inside. Target current, triode plate current, all these weird things. Grid voltage, triode, grid voltage. Oh, here we are. For approximately 0 shadow, 18 volts. Triode grid voltage approximately for 90-degree shadow angle, 0. So that's a 0 we're seeing. Not quite 90 degrees, is it? And to get it to close to 0 degrees, minus 18 volts. Well, we didn't see any ABC voltage approaching 18 volts. That's for sure. Well, possibility here is the weak tubes have caught up with the process here. So originally there were 2 tubes that were so bad they had to be changed. They've changed them. But there were 2 more tubes that were weak in here. And I didn't change them. I continued on with the work because they were good enough. They were working, just not strong. It's possible, quite possible, that that's really what we're seeing here. Is a weak signal in the radio, weak through the IF, weak through the detector, so the ABC voltage is low and weak. And that would be my guess. That's it for today. Tomorrow we will pursue that question a little bit and see if we can figure out why the ABC voltage might be depressed in this radio, or at least the voltage that gets to this tube. We'll have to study the schematic to do that. So
Love to God in us is always the work of God's love towards us.
yeah, okay. That's it for today. I'll see you tomorrow, and we'll go a little further with this.